So I'm a family office guy. I've been helping out high net worth folks for the past 11 plus years. And I want to talk about three things that I've seen these families do to transition the wealth successfully from generation one to generation two. And the first thing that they do is understanding where it began. And wealth is a result of value creation. And when you take a look internally, it's important to identify what those values are, something that you are or made or your experience that made that value come out and be alive into a business. And the reason this is important is because value is really going two places. Value is continuing to perpetuate the wealth in the business, but the value needs to be communicated within the family as well. And that same result of what it's doing in the business will continue to push your family forward into generations to come. And so what needs to happen is this value needs to be transitioned from who you are and the business into your family. And the way that people start doing this is having conversations and making it very clear as to what this value is within the family. And oftentimes we assume that the kids know or understand what that is, but in reality, it's a group. It's everybody talking together and trying to come up with what these main values are as to who your family's identity is. And when your family has an identity and everybody is secure and understands that, it can be a very, very powerful thing that continues to perpetuate and give you a lens as to why you're creating wealth or continuing to perpetuate this into the future and why it's so important for your family's values. So the second thing to consider is where's the money going? And I put the money into four buckets. There's the business, we continue to invest in this or other ventures. There's the charity, philanthropy, how we're trying to change the world or our communities. There is the family, our emotional well-being, education, all sorts of things as to where helping the family continue to be strong unit. And then the government, how we're paying taxes. And so often families will weight these differently. Some families will be 100% business where they want to continue to make and maximize wealth. Some people will be 100% charity where they don't want to continue the business. They're going to want to give it all away. And other families want to give 100% to their families where they want to minimize their taxes and maximize as much for the family. And so with this in mind, the value is driving those four buckets. But we need to step back and say, where are we at in the life cycle of our family and the life cycle of our kids? Because when they're kids growing up through college, they need to understand who they are as an individual and their identity within the family or outside the family. And they also need to be growing in their financial literacy. But as they continue to go and raise their families and their kids are transitioning out, they open up capacity to understand more about the estate and they begin to become more of a leader and helping with boards and governance and what's going on in the day-to-day with the estate. And they begin to help and start taking weight off of generation one. And so with that, the transition takes time. It isn't going to happen overnight. You're not just going to be able to give them a process doc and they're going to be able to run this. And look, what you've created is absolutely brilliant. And it's important to understand that what you've created will be very difficult to replicate in another person or your heir because you're a very unique and special individual. But what you can do is you can set them up for success. And it's not you standing above your children on a higher step, but rather you reaching down to help them to understand all the things that are going on in the estate, to help them grow, to help them learn, to help them understand how things are working and how that intertwines with your family and why that was important to you. And this is where the technical ability starts to grow for the kids. And as you start transitioning, normally it begins with just introducing them to advisors or introducing them to a key vendor contact. And then people are looking at this as saying like, oh, this is more than just you as an individual. This is a whole family unit coming at this. And you begin to teach them and help them grow as to why you are thinking that or why you invest in certain things and how that ties back to the family value. And now the weight starts coming off of your shoulders when people are being able to take or hand off some of the baton. But again, it takes time to transition this and to learn and to grow. And your kids may not know how to do everything, But that's okay, because there are multiple possibilities to continue this estate, even if your children don't have all the technical abilities. As long as they have the desire and are willing to carry on the family value, you can make this happen. And so the third thing is, where do you start? And the most important place is just by making space within the family so that they can understand what this value proposition is. Why is it important? Where are you going as a family? Why do you want to continue to perpetuate the wealth? Why it's important to everybody? And when people can rally around this goal, it can be very, very powerful. Because I see lots of times that families are disarrayed, disharmonized, and it's because they have different goals, different desires. But when you can come together as a cohesive unit, the possibilities are endless as to what you can create. And I love helping families. I'm super passionate about this, and I think that families have the capacity to do more than they've even dreamed. And it's important that you guys understand this and you have the ability to do this. So my name is David Credo. We love having this conversation. If you're interested in learning more, check out the ebook below, and you can check out the website, learn more about what we do and how we help out families.